وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين وبعد. يروي الشيخان فيما اتفقا عليه من حديث عدي بن حاتم الطائي رضي الله عنه قال. The hadith tonight is a collection of both Bukhari and Muslim, narrated to us by Adi ibn Hatim. Adi ibn Hatim, or Hatim al-Ta'i, as you know, Hatim al-Ta'i is the very famous Arab prior to Islam who was known for his generosity. He's almost mythical. He turned into something that was beyond probably what he actually did. The stories became quite exaggerated, but he became a symbol of generosity and altruism, as someone who refused to ever eat a meal on his own, etc. And Hatim al-Ta'i is someone who was obviously a Sayyid, meaning he was a master of his clan, and he was someone who was highly respected. His son Adi, radiallahu anhu, is someone who did not accept Islam early. He accepted Islam very, very late, and it took a lot of persuasion. And when he did, he spent a respectable amount of time with the Prophet ﷺ. And because he is a Sayyid, meaning like his father, he is a leader in his own tribe, some of the hadith that he narrated became very famous because this is the leader speaking, so the people would memorize it and then narrate it on. And this is one of them. And it's a known hadith you've heard before. And this is still within the theme of mindfulness of the tongue, and I'll do that for this week. And then next week, inshallah, we'll talk a little bit about Hajj. Probably either this weekend or next weekend, we'll do 1 or 2 sessions about Hajj. Obviously, those who are going to Hajj are going to be already gone. These sessions are for those who aren't going to Hajj, to kind of encourage them to go to Hajj by explaining the manasik and the purpose of these things and how it works. Someone who's going to Hajj should probably 2 or 3 months prior to Hajj go and attend a seminar or attend a workshop or something to learn how to perform Hajj appropriately. So he says, قال عدي قال ذكر رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم الموت أو ذكر عذاب النار فتعوذ منها. The Prophet عليه الصلاة والسلام once was sitting and he recalled, or he was in remembrance of the hellfire. So he sought refuge in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from it. ثم أشاح بوجهه ثلاث مرار. And every time he looked up عليه الصلاة والسلام to see something, he would look down again and do the same thing. And أعوذ بالله من عذاب النار. أعوذ بالله من عذاب. He would look up again, he wanted to say something, then he'd look back down again. أعوذ بالله من عذاب النار. أعوذ بالله من عذاب. He did it 3 times. Every time he came to say something, he would pause and just look away again and استعيذ. ثم قال صلى الله عليه وسلم. So you can see عليه الصلاة والسلام is was contemplating something, was very intimate regarding this issue. قال اتقوا النار ولو بشق تمرة فإن لم تجد فبكلمة طيبة. Said, protect yourself from the hellfire. So taqwa, depending on how we're using it, if we're using it Islamically, istilahan, meaning we're using the Islamic meaning of it, it has a definition. If you're using it linguistically, it has a different definition. There are similarities, obviously, between the two, but the word tawakkul, for example, and the word taqwa, these are Islamic words. They're coined by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, by the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. They have specific meanings within Islam. They have istilah. They are part of the nomenclature of Islam, and taqwa and tawakkul are examples of that. But the word wakala and the word waqa have meanings within language as well. So here, in this hadith, he's not really talking about the whole concept of taqwa, which is very important, obviously, and people should understand well, Muslims. He's just using the linguistic meaning of it, which is, again, attached to the bigger picture, but still it's the linguistic meanings. And waqa is for you to protect yourself or prevent something. Yeah, it's preventative. That's the concept. That's why الطب الوقائي, for example, in our discipline, is basically preventative medicines. Or dirham wiqaya khayrun min qintari ilaj, if you've heard this proverb, meaning a small amount of money to prevent is better than spending a lot when the problem already occurs. فقال اتقوا النار, prevent or protect yourself from the hellfire. Prevent falling into the hellfire. ولو بشق تمرة, even if all you have to give is a half of a date or a piece of a date. Not a full date. Forget about giving like a lot of money. You have nothing, but you don't even have a full date. You just have a piece of a date. So you're going to use a half date to give to someone as a sadaqah, as a good deed, to try and prevent yourself from being in the hellfire, by trying to protect yourself from being punished by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So you're giving sadaqat. Because sadaqat work in so many ways. We're commanded to give zakat and other sadaqat, but also sadaqah is your way out of punishment for other problems. Like if we fall into sin and we fail to perform proper tawbah, or we forget about, or our salawat aren't great, or if you want to kind of get rid of all of that, you give sadaqat, and that kind of covers all of those problems. As Imam Shafi'i says, تَسَتَّرَ بِالسَّخَاءِ فَكُلُّ عَيْبٍ يُغَطِّيهِ كَمَا قِيلَ السَّخَاءُ. Yani, conceal all of your sins and all of your shortcomings with generosity, because generosity will conceal all sin. Like no one remembers the shortcomings of the generous person who gives a lot of wealth. So the Prophet ﷺ is saying, ittaquna, prevent yourself from falling into the hellfire, protect yourself from hellfire, even with just a half of a date. فَإِن لَمْ تَجِدْ, and if you are so poor you can't find that, فَبِكَلِمَةٍ طَيِّبَةٍ, then a nice word, a kind word. A kind word. So if you have nothing to give, if you have nothing to give in your life, which is okay, you may be in a place where you're barely making ends meet, you can barely take care of yourself and your family and make sure that things are stable for you, and that's fine. So if you don't have something to give, you don't have extra to give, فَبِكَلِمَةٍ طَيِّبَةٍ, a kind word, a word of khair. Your tongue, as it can be the reason, as in the hadith I narrated at the beginning of this whole series, when he asked Mu'adh, وَهَلْ يَكُبُّ النَّاسَ يعني على مناخرهم في النار إلا حصائد ألسنتهم, what throws people on their faces in Jahannam except their tongues? He says here, عليه الصلاة والسلام, one of the ways you can protect yourself from Jahannam is a kind word. Just use it well. Just use your tongue for the right thing, and you can protect yourself. You can shield yourself from the hellfire by saying something kind, saying something nice. A kalima طيبة. ألم تر كيف ضرب الله مثلا كلمة طيبة كشجرة طيبة أصلها ثابت وفرعها في السماء تؤتي أكلها كل حين بإذن ربها ويضرب الله الأمثال للناس لعلهم يتذكرون. Recite these verses in Surah Ibrahim. You know, see how Allah gave the example of a beautiful word, like a beautiful tree, a good tree, like a healthy tree. It puts its root into the ground deep, and then it goes upwards, and it starts to give fruit, and it just continues to grow, because goodness does that. Kindness, when you say something kind, it goes into the ear of one person, and it results in something nice coming out of their mouths. It goes into the ear of other people, and it keeps on going. It keeps on populating, and it never ends. And that's how you can protect yourself from hellfire. Just make sure what you say that which is kind. And the Prophet ﷺ said this as he was in a moment of deep contemplation of adab an-nar, where he couldn't bring himself to say anything else when he was thinking about it. It's as if he didn't want to go into too much detail. Just protect yourself. Don't underestimate the effect of anything to protect yourself. Everything you got is worth protecting, using it to protect yourself from hellfire. Even if all you have is just a piece of date, that's all you got, give it. It'll protect you. You don't have that, say something nice. It'll protect you. Do something. Because it's just too enormous. It's too horrific for you not to. How could you not? It is the worst thing that ever is, and ever was, and ever will be. Protect yourself with whatever you've got. He gave us the bottom line, عليه الصلاة والسلام. No point in explaining what it actually is there, and why go through all the gruesome details. Just I'm telling you, protect yourself with whatever you got. Half a date, a kind word, all worth it. يروي الشيخان فيما اتفقا عليه من حديث عدي بن حاتم الطائي رضي الله عنه قال أنه ذكر النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم فقال ذكر النار فتعوذ منها ثم أشاح بوجهه 3 مرار ثم قال اتقوا النار ولو بشق تمرة فإن لم تجد فبكلمة طيبة. صدق رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم.